Hello and welcome to Round Zero of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Oktoberfest season presented by RaceFirst. So this series runs a fixed baseline setup, and they're going to be running the BMW Z4 GT3. The Z4 competed in such series as the American Le Mans and European Le Mans series, as well as the United Sports Car Championship before it was replaced by the M6 GTLM. Now tonight we're going to be running Okayama for the preseason round here. After this round, as we head into October, we're going to be running 5 races and marquee European circuits. So next Thursday we're going to be running Spa-Francorchamps, and then on October 8th, Zandvoort, October 15th, Barcelona, October 22nd, Brands Hatch, and October 29th, the final round at Nürburgring Grand Prix. So all of these races will be taking place about 8 o'clock, like it is tonight, with a qualifying session and then a race session following up. So tonight, we're actually in the middle of qualifying. As you can see, Okayama International Circuit, 2.3 miles, 11 corners. We have that on the screen there for you. And we're going to head right into qualifying. We've got about 20 minutes left in qualifying. And we've only have a really fast lap from Rafael Torres, one of the fast guys here in this series. We did keep track of the short session they had last night, a practice session, and he was one of the top guys out there. So we'll keep an eye on him and how he progresses through this 11 corner, 2.3 mile course. Just a gaggle of cars there. This is qualifying. We have quite a few, and one car going off and catching the tire barrier there, but no harm, no foul. Head on to the pits, get that repair going. So let me go ahead and see. We've got a bunch of cars. We'll see if we can start following some cars out here. Now I'm getting used to the drivers. Like I said, I was in the session last night getting used to the drivers and their liveries. This is Peter Lanek here, currently in the third fastest position, running a 1 minute 32.452. I'll put that up on the board here. So those are our fastest laps. I was also doing a little previewing from a multi-class event earlier with the Mustangs and the MX-5 and the Volkswagen. So the Mustangs, the pole lap, it was a really good lap by one of the Mustangs out there. Did a 1 minute 41 lap, so we're about 10 seconds faster than that Mustang. I think that's about a GT4 level Mustang, so that makes a lot of sense. These GT3 cars. So Peter Lanek there running the Monster livery. Check out our current car, provisional pole sitter sitting in the pits, P1, looking at Dave Fitzgerald. He's looking like he's running that Golf livery, one of the famous sports car liveries out there. Not something you'd see on a BMW, but or a Z4 anyway. So we looked at Peter in third. This was Dave in second position. Yakov Bielik here. This nationwide white, red, and black livery for him. I think there's a couple of cars running that livery, or at least very similar as I saw last night. It's gonna be a challenge for me picking out all these drivers here. Yakov here, Bielik running in fourth position. He's got the 6th car ahead of him. Or at least that's what the number was on the front there. Yeah, it looks like it was Brian Hare here in the currently running in 6th. I skipped over Brian Kennedy, so let's have a quick look at him. He's running a slightly gray-looking car with a Puma on the front. BMW lifestyle car, it looks like, out here. Currently in the 5th position. So all of these drivers in this series are in... It's the, as it was called, National Capital Chapter, so they're all around the Virginia BMW owners. Oh, as Brian Kennedy gets it onto the rumble strips on the exit, I believe that was, looking at my notes here, turn 3. and he takes it back to the pits. So Scott Kim here, he's on the admin of the series. Currently running, it's updated. It's showing a little bit of a clash of data here for me. So he's showing in 6th on my leaderboard, but I'm actually showing him as in 7th on my more up-to-date best lap. So I don't know 100% why that is, but we'll probably get that updated in the next couple minutes. But anyway, I've talked to him. Him and Dave Fitzgerald there, they were the ones that kind of set this up, as I can see that, I think that was... Is that Brian Kennedy behind him? No, it was another car that was like Brian Kennedy's car right behind Scott Kim there. So again, those couple of cars there, I'll have to figure out who that is. It'll become a little bit easier come race time. So Scott's running this black livery. I like that car. Whoa, as he gets off the rumble strips and collides with that. It's the 32 car of Colin Kordanik. So, again, this is just qualifying, so it can happen. It can happen out here. So this is Brian Hare. He's we already talked about him, but he's in 7th on the screen. As I heard another car collide with the barriers, or it sounded a little bit more like concrete there. I would assume you guys heard that one as well. So Robert Benson in the 9th position, in the number 11. This car heads into turn 1 here. And now he's going to be heading to turn 2, called Williams. Apparently I was looking at researching this particular track. I've certainly driven this track quite a bit in iRacing, but I've never really looked at the names of the corners. So I have printed out a map so that I can know all these names for us tonight. Got about 12 cars out here, as you guys can see on the leaderboard. Robert Stokes here, back in the 10th position. This navy blue livery here. Ahead of him is, that was a bad camera angle. And we have the 77 car. Okay, that was Robert Stokes. We have Steve Flanagan here. He's got, this one will be easy to spot, kind of a bright yellow, maybe even a little bit of lime green in that livery. I can't quite tell. He does look like he's a little bit of damage on that nose of his car. Might have impacted the barriers there. And then back in 12th position, our last qualifier at the moment anyway, is Stephen Tenney. So let's have a look. Is Raphael? He is back out on the track. Let's do an onboard with him. Have Raphael take us around the track here. So he looks like he's in about turn 7 right here. It's going to be heading towards... And so this was turn 7. Hits those rumble strips. Back in, just slightly comes around. He's heading down towards turn 8 now. And then he's going to be going through... turn 8, and then turn 9 is probably the slowest portion of the course here, as he sets up for a quick couple of corners here. Turn 10 and then turn 11 as he comes. That's the final corner of the track, and he's going to complete this lap here. As he heads down to it. This first corner is literally called, turn 1 is called first corner. Heads out wide onto the rumble strips. Orients himself for the second corner here. Tight against those rumble strips. Exit corner rumble strips as well. This is where that one car had lost it earlier in the session. He navigates through turn 4, called Atwood Curve, onto the back straightaway. One of his competitors gets out of the way for him. 777 car of Rafael Torres. Heads to the hairpin at turn 6. This will be our primary passing point, I would think. through turn 6 and turn 7. That back end just wants to slide around, but Raphael catches it as he heads on to turn 8, and this is a lap here completed of Okayama International Circuit. There's a slow car ahead of him. That was... I didn't catch the car number on that. It might have been... Peter Lanik, maybe? Nope, yeah, Peter was in the monster car. So again, I'm gonna be, and I told Scott this, it's a good thing we're running this preseason race 0 of the schedule to get used to some of these drivers and their liveries. Like these triple-digit numbers, not as common in, say, the IndyCar series that I usually... We've got a couple triple number cars, but that's certainly a thing that is a lot more common in sports cars to see triple-digit numbers on cars. So can anybody at the track knock Raphael off that provisional pole position? If they're gonna do it, I would have to imagine it's got to be Dave here. He's sitting in the pits though, in that Gulf livery car. Yakov here is in third position. Another triple-digit car, 141. Our top 4 currently. You guys can't see it, but Raphael's a 777. Actually, so Dave was a 91, but then we have Yakov Bielik at a 141 and Peter Yatlanik at a 294. So Brian Kennedy, so this is a car that confused me earlier. So there's another car out here that I believe is running this livery, so between him, I need to figure out who the other car is here. Let's go through once again and figure out. So this is Brian Kennedy running the Puma BMW Lifestyle livery. I like the dark gray with the orange. Looking good. Club New England, number 9. That's a good number. Let's see if we can figure out who else was out there. As I can see, Brian is coming up on some traffic here. Looks like that is Peter Lanik ahead of him in that monster car. So they navigate through turn 4. Head onto the back straightaway. Might be close enough to get a little bit of a slipstream off of him, but ultimately, I don't think at this particular track, this isn't like a Mulsanne straight or anything like that, so that draft isn't going to help too much on a qualifying lap. So Yakov Bielik there has set, and this is his last lap, was a 1:32 flat. He's trying to be very precise. As I can see some, on the outside of that last corner he was going through, some dust and dirt has been kicked onto the track. Nobody wants to go out there. That was on turn 4 on the outside. I don't think anybody wants to go out there at this point. We'll get that cleaned up between the qualifying session and the race, though. Let's go figure out who was that other car that had that Puma livery. This was Steve Flanagan. So there is that Puma livery. He's blinking at Steve there as he goes around. I'm not sure who that is. Yeah, it's actually a little bit different of a livery. Let's see if we can figure out who that was. There's another one, Steve Kordenik. So that wasn't who we were looking for. Number 25 out here. Is that wasn't his number. I'm not sure why there was a 25 on the side of the car there. But he is, it could be on the livery. It's number 8, Steve Tenney. He's running, his last lap was actually his fastest, so even with that nose damage, I had to catch myself there. I almost said front nose. Even with that nose damage, his car, he's still putting down fast laps. It's probably with as the fuel comes down. So again, we are in the qualifying session here. These laps count. Starting grid. It'll be a standing start. Robert Stokes is in that 77 navy blue livery. You can see there's some cloud cover. It has hit the track. Not as sunny as it was earlier. That cloud cover should help cool the track, and then of course it might make the track just a little bit quicker. So we can see if anybody can do a little bit quicker lap right now. We see Brian Kennedy has actually overtaken Peter Lanek, who's actually ahead of him, so he might have actually been helped by that little bit of a draft as these cars head through turn 6 and 7. Short shoot down to turn 8. You can see the rear tires just lock up ever so slightly on Peter Lanek's car up ahead. He was onto those rumble strips quite a bit. Oh, it looks like that was Brian Kennedy. He had lost it on the curbs back there. Let's see if we can get a quick replay. I haven't tried one of those tonight. See what happened to him. I think he got over the curbs. That's what I would imagine happened. Oh, we got changed there. That was... Okay, we missed that. Let's go back one more time. For some reason our... So he just loses it, or he got a little bit wide there. Goes over those rumble strips. Oh, he just gets it onto the dirt a little bit and loses it. This tire model on this car is not very forgiving when you just get it off into the dirt a little bit. So let's do a run through with only about 6 minutes to go in qualifying. Let's have a run through and let me get back to live pictures as well. So Rafael Torres currently first. 1 minute 30, only car in the minute 30s. Dave Fitzgerald, running P2, Gulf livery. Yakov Bielik, 1 minute 32 flat. Brian Kennedy, that spinner from earlier, to minute. Well, actually, we've got a switch up here, at least on the leaderboard on the screen that you guys are seeing. There's again, a difference of it, some information here. So we have Kortenik is currently in. Okay, I'm recalling. I do think so. There was I looked in the rules on this league. There was no qualifying scrutiny. So I don't know if that means that laps with, for instance, a tire off would actually count as a qualifying lap. I don't know if that's what the scrutiny means. I have to look into that. And so Colin Kortenik here, also running one of these BMW lifestyle cars, as he backs it up onto the track and hits that rear wing, goes back and gets a repair. So it looks like my top 5 did update there. Now Kennedy, who we were discussing, who's also in one of these BMW Puma liveries, is back in 5th, going around. We'll see who that is. Anyway, Peter Lanek, Monster Energy cars. The sun I can see hitting the track once again as those shadows develop. Scott Kim back here in 7th. Brian Hare in 8th. Robert Benson back here in 9th. Stephen Tenney still driving around with this front nose damaged on his car there. He goes wide. They're losing a little bit of that front downforce. He might just want to head as he almost hits the pit attenuator. He stays out there. He's determined. Robert Stokes, number 77, this navy blue car. In the 11th position, number 77. Steve Flanagan also has some issues with the nose of the car back here in 12th position. Number 3 car, though. As we head to 3 minutes left in this qualifying session. So we get some of these guys on the microphone up in the broadcast booth after the race. That is the current plan. We'll be doing a standing start. 2.3 miles, so let's see, we're going to be running a 25-minute race. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to figure out what the math would be on that for how many laps this will be. But I believe next week we'll be going to a little bit longer race. Not 100% sure, but we'll be talking with the admins about what we're going to be doing next week, what is on the docket. As Steve here goes wide. And then loses it. Now that car is going to need some repairs, I would say. Although I think he might be trying to continue it on. And Dave Fitzgerald here knock Rafael Torres off that provisional pole. He's had a lot of time to do it, but every lap that these cars are taking, they're laying down rubber on the track, and every lap of rubber means more speed. As I could see one of those, I think it was the Puma livery coming out of the pits there. Looks like Dave's gonna pull it off into the pits. He's done. And he's like, well, he's gonna get out of the way. And no, he decided he's done. Rafael is still out here, so his livery is a little bit also like the. So it's RJT Racing, so it looks like he has a racing team, which might make sense on why he's in the first position here. Club Carolina, number 777. As I can see Scott Kim, and I think that was... Is it Robert Stokes in the navy blue car? Yes, it was. Memory is starting to develop. You can see that damaged car that had hit the pit wall earlier, navigating around. So we're gonna have 12 cars here tonight. So next week, though, Spa-Francorchamps, I think we might get some more cars out here. That is, you know, obviously the very famous track in the Belgian forest there. So these drivers won't want to miss that one. Looks like Peter Lanek has moved back into the top 5 position in that 5th position. I think he had dropped back. Kennedy is P6, Kim P7. Kim has been in P7 almost the whole time this session. As Rafael looks to head around him. I mean, this session is ending up being, I mean, it's both a qualifying session and a test session, really, as qualifying is coming to an end. You can see the timer reset as Scott there. That car had engine smoke, so that car is done. But since this is an open qualifying session, iRacing it counted down that 25 minutes, I believe it was, or was it 35 minutes? And then it's going to give any driver that's on a hot lap a next minute and 20 seconds to complete that hot lap. And then we're going to be heading to the race. We're gridding. This will actually be the first standing start that we've done in this on this channel on Raceverse. Everything we've been doing has been rolling starts and all of the IndyCar races we've been doing. So the Raceverse League is going to be running the Summit Point in the IndyCars this week, and I did do a vote on whether we wanted to do standing starts, and I was hoping standing starts would win, but unfortunately I couldn't manipulate my own vote enough so that could come true. So I don't think anybody else is on the track at the moment. Oh, I hear cars. See the... maybe Brian Hare is out there? There we go, Stephen Flanagan driving around in this Mad Max mobile here. You can see that dust on that exit corner there as well. As we are done with our qualifying, so we're going to do a quick run through the grid as these cars grid. Ignore what the ticker is saying right there. All right, so our grid. We have Rafael Torres in the first position, a minute 30.796. Dave Fitzgerald in P2, Yakov Bielik in P3, Colin Kordenik in P4, Peter Lanek in P5, Brian Kennedy in P6. Looking at the next 6 cars out here, Scott Kim in P7, Brian Hare in P8, Robert Benson in P9, Robert Stokes P10, Stephen Tenney P11, Stephen Flanagan in P12 as they head to the green flag here. Rafael Torres into that first position, heading through turn 1. They head through all the way into Williams already. That was a very quick start. I guess everybody gridded up, so that was a quick grid. And Rafael Torres, Scott Kim has moved back to second position. Dave Fitzgerald's moved into second. Colin Kordenik in the third position as they navigate around Atwood Curve onto the back straightaway. Commanding lead so far for Torres. Let's look at our gaps from our leader. Really good. Looks like Lanek is looking inside on Kordenik there, but thinks wiser of it. They're just one by one as they head through turn 7 already. Really love this camera angle, by the way. Slowest corner of the track, or at least that's how I kind of feel about it anyway. There might be... a hairpin might be a little bit slower, but that one certainly feels slower to me when I'm driving around out here. So Rafael Torres is going to bring us to the first lap complete. Love the sound of these V8 engines in this BMW Z4s. Or if you're from one of the British areas, Z4, as I see Peter Lanek looking inside, maybe locking up those tires. And he's going to good battle here between Peter Lanek and actually a 3-car battle developing for the third position between Colin Kordenik in that third position, Peter Lanek in fourth in that monster car, and Brian Kennedy in 5th position there. As Torres is gapping the lead, but so is Dave Fitzgerald back there. I'm not seeing that Steve Flanagan started the race, so we only have 11 cars taking to the grid. I have to say, this particular camera, this track, works really good for getting just kind of the feel of the speed. A static camera really gives you the sense of speed of these cars going through these corners. Looked like Brian Hare was a little bit wide in that corner. I think that was Brian Hare anyway. Or was that Brian Kennedy? No, it was at Jakub Bielek, actually. I think he had lost a position. That's Bielek. And then Brian Hare there in the 7th position. And Scott Kim dropped back a spot. I know he had started 7th position. Let me bring that up. Start positions for any car we're following out here. So the gap between, so this battle here for the 3rd position between Kordenek, Lanek, and Kennedy has actually, Fitzgerald in P2 has actually gapped almost 5 seconds. It's 4.5 seconds at the moment in that Gulf car from the 3rd position here of Kordenek. Kordenek just under pressure from Lanek here, and Kennedy behind Lanek. Really good battle. And now I can finally see it. We've got our 2 cars that look very similar, livery in 3rd position and 5th position. So I know Kordenek and Kennedy right there, BMW lifestyle cars. These guys are battling for this position. You can tell they're looking for all the grip that they can on this track as they navigate through turn 10 and on to turn 11. And on to the front straightaway. We can see a car went wide there. That might be from qualifying. Looking through, so this appears to... Actually, we've got another battle back here with Bielek and Scott Kim. Pretty close as well, intervals between these drivers. But the best battle on the track is for this 3rd position here. Let's go on board with Kennedy here. So onto the back straightaway. They're going to be heading down towards that hairpin at turn 5. Brian Kennedy going through the gears as he tries to hunt down Peter Lanek ahead in that Monster Energy car. They head through turn 6 and 7 and on to turn 8 called Redmond, and then turn 9 Hobbs. And they are going to head through the last corner, which is called the last corner. Just like so, turn 1 is called the first corner. Final corner on the track, turn 11 is also called last corner. So it looks like Lanek might have gapped just slightly ahead there. Again, we're also keeping an eye on this battle between well, did something happen to Scott Kim? Yes, he is in the pits at the moment. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to him. Because he was battling with Brian Hare. This might go back a bit. So he's already damaged. This is quite a while ago. Let's see if we can figure out where this happened. He might have just... This could have happened a while ago, and here it is. We're going to see. He's just going to lose it on the curbs here. He gets on those curbs. Those curbs were not liking that, and that looked to be on the outside of turn 2, and one of his competitors almost collided with him, but they were safely through, as that grass can be very slick. Let's head back towards the live pictures then. Heading back to that. Okay, we've got Peter Lanek going inside into turn 1 on Colin Kordenek. Very close battle. We timed that perfectly for getting back to the live pictures. It could not have been better than that. I would have missed that another second later. So it looks like Flanagan has come out of the pits at this point anyway, because he is now a running car. And we've got this group of cars, so this 3-car battle is shortly becoming a 4-car battle, with Bielik might be becoming part of it as well. I think it was Bielik back there. Somebody went wide back there, as I think I saw Lanek also just looped it too. Let's quickly, I'm just going to do rewind here and see what we can figure out what happened. There were several cars that looked like they went off. Let me see if I can go to static pictures. It might be a little bit easier to spot. As we're heading down to not quite 15 minutes, but almost 15 minutes. So Lanek looks a little bit inside, thinking about it, into the hairpin. So we had Brian Kennedy also go wide, Yakov Bielik, and then in turn 7, we missed it here, but Peter Lanek catches the inside concrete barrier. But he'll be able to continue there. Not heading towards the pits, so let's see where this situates us into the battles that are going on in this track. Yeah, I'll just do a run through of the field. So Torres leads our field. It looks like Fitzgerald has caught up to him. Right when I say that, I hope he's not listening to the broadcast here. I warned Scott, I said, try not to listen to the broadcast, because that's just going to mess you up. But Dave here, he might have heard me call out his name, that he was catching up with Raphael there, and he might have made a mistake. Let's hope that's not what happened. As now he's going to come into the clutches of Colin Kordenek in the 3rd position. So Kordenek has gapped slightly from Yakov Bielik here. Brian Kennedy, just another second back from them. Brian Hare, probably about a half second back from him. And Peter Lanek, our spinner from earlier, is trying to reorient himself. Currently in the 7th position. And then there's a large gap back to Peter Benson in the 8th position. Stephen Tenney is running 9th. Robert Stokes is running 10th. Scott Kim also made that mistake earlier. He got, I don't know if we're running fast repairs or, it looks like they repaired his car though. I'm not against the fast repairs on a road course series like this. Certainly can help everybody. It looks like Flanagan here is about to be lapped. That is the leader? That is Rafael Torres. So let's see if we can get to navigate around this first lapped car that he has to deal with out here tonight. So he blinks his lights. These cars do have a little bit of traction control and slip control, by the way, and I don't know 100% if they do have ABS brakes, but I think they do. I do have some information that I had here, but I don't know if it'll tell me that. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about that, but I'm positive that it has traction control and some slip angle control. So Torres, as he did in practice, is taking a commanding lead of this track, of this race. It looks like, so as Dave Fitzgerald navigates through turn 1, Torres is several seconds ahead, 10 seconds ahead of him. Looking at my intervals here, so I can look at I can show you guys the intervals as well. So it looks like Kennedy and Bielik is probably the best battle on the track, and Hare is only about a second and a half behind them. You can see Kennedy also had that mistake earlier. He might be a little bit quicker than Bielik ahead of him. They both do have... We can look at best laps. This is of the race. Actually, that is not of the race. Let's look at last laps. You can see Torres and Fitzgerald. Oh, we've got... that's Flanagan. Looped his car... looks like everybody was able to navigate around him. So these are last laps. You can see Torres and Fitzgerald only cars in 31 seconds. Kordenek's in the 32. Kennedy's in the 32. So last lap, Kennedy was faster than Bielik up there. So he'll be catching him in the next couple of laps, if not already. As I look back and I could see that Peter Lanek has caught the car of... Is that Brian Hare? That is Brian Hare. We've got two battles that we kind of need to keep an eye on here between Brian Hare and Peter Lanek, and Yakov Bielik and Brian Kennedy. Not easy to make a pass in these cars. I think that Kennedy there just made it around Bielik, though. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. Looks like he probably set him up on the back straightaway. Well, then it changed our camera position on us. Yeah, so on the front straightaway. Goes to the inside into turn 1, and he's going to complete that pass. I think Bielik probably knew that Kennedy was faster than him and wasn't going to challenge that position too much to let him by. Now back to live pictures. So we were also watching Peter Lanek. So Lanek also has got around Brian Hare. Lanek, one of the cars that had that mistake early in the race. This last lap was a minute 32, so that's quite a bit faster than Bielik ahead of him. Bielik's last lap was a 34. As I change to the gaps once again. 11 cars currently on the lap. We're going to be about 9 minutes left in this race. Our estimates are, I do have it on the screen now, we're going to be running about 17 laps, and we're currently on lap 11. So unfortunately, that mistake by Fitzgerald, they're really running comparative laps, Fitzgerald and Torres are, but that mistake by Fitzgerald kind of knocks him out of contention unless Torres has some kind of mistake during this race. But as you build that gap as the leader, you know, you are even more unlikely to make a mistake. So Kordenek, Puma BMW livery there, kind of driving around on his own as well. So Kordenek had got around Bielik, but I think that Bielik is going to come under pressure from Kennedy. Actually, Kennedy just got around him, so that was quick. Let's see if we can get a replay of this one as well. Was he already around there? Yep, it looks like he was already around, even several seconds before I looked at that replay. So now Peter Lanek will be working on getting around Bielik up there. Let's see if there's any other interesting camera angles that we can look at. This is from the left front suspension on Peter Lanek's car. You can see how that suspension on that front left tire really moves up and down. It's doing a lot of work, providing a lot of grip for Peter and all these other drivers out here. You can really hear those rumble strips from this camera. So Bielik is still, I'm going to go on board with him as well. Bielik has caught Kennedy. Kennedy is not pulling away like I thought he might have. And it looks like we've switched over, so we've got 6.5 minutes left in the race, but the overlay here is thinking we've got 5 laps left in the race. So I'd say it's switched over to that. So this is go time now. This is where you gotta make your moves. This is actually the closest battle on the track between Bielik and Kennedy. As they head through turn 4, and they're gonna go on to the back straightaway here. The first of the Puma cars, that was Coordinate goes by. Now the second one of Kennedy. Yakov Bielik. See if Peter Lanek has gapped slightly on Brian Hare, and he might be able to have enough laps to kind of make this a 3-car battle once again here. So last laps, let's look at last laps so we can see. Torres just did the fastest lap of the race at a minute 30.598. So he's brought it down into the 30s. That might be faster than his qualifying lap. I believe it is. As I could see back in the back of the screen there, Brian Hare did have a slight off there. So Peter Lanek will know that he's no longer under any pressure from behind. He can focus on Bielik in front, and Bielik will know he's under pressure, and he's going to be going as fast as he can as well. But you can see that Bielik's last lap, he's the car in the 5th position, was a minute 33, whereas everybody around him is in the minute 32s, 3rd, 4th, and 6th and 7th position, all in the 32s. As let's head on, let's look at how Raphael is doing up here as well. So he looks to be lapping. So Scott Kim just went around him, but is that Robert Stokes that he just lapped? I believe it is. Yes, it is. And that navy blue car. So Scott Kim here, he's the, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the min of the series, running 10th. He had that mistake early on, started 7th, running 10th, but I think he'll know how to treat the leader as the min here in the league when he's getting lapped. He had to make that pit stop from that front end damage that he had. Trying to find any battles on the track. The battle between Lanik and Bielik has not come too much closer. In fact, so Bielik is also in the minute 32s now, and they're just doing comparative laps. So Lanik would need to, you know, he needs to be running half a second to a second lap faster with this only 2 or 3 laps to go here. 3 laps to go, but it's when they hit the start-finish line, it's going to be even less than that. So Fitzgerald here, I do see that he did, not the last lap, but earlier in the races. Flanagan's ahead of him. That's in about turn 2, Williams corner. He lets him go. So Fitzgerald did run a minute 30 lap at some point in this race according to my data. So he's fast out there. That livery might help with that. Two laps to go. RJT racing car of Rafael Torres. That is his team. Rafael Jr. Torres racing car. Slick livery though. I like the matching rim colors. That's the key to having a good livery, is you have to match your livery to your rims to the livery here. So he had gotten around Scott Kim there. So that closest battle again between, and actually Kennedy up there. Let's look at him, because he had done a minute 31 lap and he is catching. Let's look at our intervals here. Our gaps, intervals. He is catching Kordenek up there. And it looks like Torres is on the final lap up there too. So running out of time is Brian Kennedy. And anybody else thinking about dreams of increasing their position? Kennedy here wanting to get on the podium. This is the back straightaway. This will be the final run on this back straightaway into the hairpin. Up ahead. Really the best place that you could pass, but he's too far back at this point. Unless somebody makes a mistake. Certainly can happen. So Torres is going to come onto the front straightaway here. Final corner. Literally called last corner. And he is going to take the victory here. And he's going to blink those lights. And congratulations to Rafael Jr. Torres, RJT racing car. Dave Fitzgerald, we'll see he's coming across the start-finish line as well. Happy about that finishing position. Probably hoping that he had a little bit better chance. But again, this is the preseason race, so this isn't for points. This is for glory. So Kordenek in those same liveries come across the start-finish line. Jakub Bielik across the start-finish line. Lanik also across the finish line. Brian Hare across the start-finish line. Let's see, back here we've got Robert Benson still running in 8th position. A little bit of front, I was about to say it, front nose damage. He's back here navigating through 8th and 9th corner. Looks like him and then Stephen Tenney are going to be the last cars to cross the start-finish line. As he comes across the start-finish line in 8th position. Steve Tenney coming around corner number 10 and on to 11 as well. And he's in ninth position, last car to start across the start-finish line. So our finishing position, Torres, P1, congratulations on victory. Our podium here, Fitzgerald in P2, Kordanek in P3. On to fourth position, Kennedy, Bielik 5th, Lanik 6th, Error in 7th, Benson in 8th, Tenney in 9th, Scott Kim in 10th, our admin here, Robert Stokes in 11th, and Stephen Flanagan rounding out our field, our 12 dozen car field in the 12th position. So let's get on to some interviews. We talked about just interviewing whoever we could here. So let me be right back here, and then I will set this up. We might be interviewing everybody. I guess the question is who is it going to be? I guess we'll start with our admin first. So, hey, Scott, I got you up in the booth here, so I didn't know who to pull up.
All right, sounds good.
But how was your race? I know you had some struggles there. Hit the pit lane at one point. Tell me about your race.
Oh, I think it went well. I think it's first week they were trying this car and this track, so I think it was a good opening preseason race for us. And the guys are just talking about that, and it's like they just got the car and they're trying to learn how the car works, and the track was a little tricky, a lot of hairpins. So
yeah,
but yeah, it was really fun, and I spun a little bit and hit the wall and had to come in a little bit. But yeah, other than that, it was I think I didn't see too many incidents, but I thought the race went well. I think the guys were driving pretty well. So of course the reigning champion Rafael, I mean he every week.
So you said that this is the first time you've run these cars. What were you running previously?
We usually run M8 GTE.
Okay, all right.
We did that for almost 20 weeks, all over summertime, and
that was the GTE car, or is that?
It was a GTE. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, M8, and everybody's favorite. And yeah, for the fall season, we decided to try European tracks and a different car. And so far, the car's been great. It feels a lot smoother. Just as powerful and fast. But yeah, it's going to take some time to get used to. But yeah, I thought things were pretty good.
Hey, do these cars have ABS brakes? I know they have stability control and traction control, but I wasn't sure on the ABS.
So that's a big difference between GTE and GT3 is that GT3s have ABS. So that actually helped quite a bit in certain some of these sharp turns. But yeah, I mean that's another big benefit of this car. So. But yeah, I mean, we're used to driving M8 GTE without the ABS, but yeah, having an ABS time to time,
I'm trying to remember that is the M8 the one. Does it have? It doesn't have ABS as you said, but it does have something that kind of tells you whether you're locking up the brakes.
It does.
Yes.
So there's a little light that flicks, the front
exactly.
and the rear. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you want to be that just in the range where just before the lockup. So.
Well, very good. Well, it looks like we have Rafael up here in the booth as well. Congratulations on your victory, Rafael.
Thank you very much.
From what I've heard, that you're kind of the reigning champion around here, and it looks like you're continuing it into this car as well.
Well, this first race was a learning experience. Like Scott said, we used to drive the M8. I love the M8, but I think the Z4 is growing on me, and maybe I'll be able to pull it again, but it's going to be hard because everybody's getting faster.
Well, I'm glad you called it the Z4 because that's what I was calling it, because I know some of our British friends might call it the Z4.
Yeah, I speak American. What can I say?
Well, congratulations on your victory. I saw you have a livery. It looks like a custom livery, RJT Racing. I'm assuming that is your team, as your name is right there.
Well, that's my actual company. That's what I do business under. I'm a professional coach and instructor, and I race for different people, and I coach different pro drivers. And I also work for the BMW driving school in Greenville here in the United States.
Very cool. Very cool. So I guess that's a shout out to them, and very good. Well, let's try to get some of our other drivers up here in the booth. Any recommendations, Scott, there on who we should bring up?
I would say, Dave Fitzgerald for setting us up, and he finished second, so I think he'd be a good one.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Hey, Dave, got you up in the booth here.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good, congratulations on that second position. Tell me about your
Thank
race.
you. Well, it would have been nicer, but I threw it away. Raphael and myself were doing pretty good. I think I was keeping within a second, half a second, and then I'm not sure what turn number it is. I was probably
think it was
5.
Turn 6 or 7, maybe?
Yeah,
turn 5.
After the hairpin, yeah, that little left downhill, for some unknown reason, I put it into first as I was braking, and that just looped me right around. So that ruined the race for the it's only a 25-minute race, so
Yeah.
that was it. And Raphael just had such good pace that there was no catching up. In fact, he gapped me even further. I think I had about a 6 or 7 second deficit at that point, and by the end of the race, I think it was close to 10. So he really was moving out.
Yeah, I think that only you two were the only ones that were in a minute 30 somewhere in that race. Raphael was obviously had several of those minute 30s, but I think you had just got into the minute 30s at some point during the race. I was going to tell you though, unfortunately, right when I switched to your car is right about the time that you did have that spin. So I was hoping that you didn't have the broadcast on, because I was like, hey, Dave Fitzgerald, he's really catching up to Raphael there, and unfortunately, that was like right when you spun.
Well, you know what that's called, right? The commentator's curse.
It really was,
so stay away from me next time.
But even more in sim racing, because you get the occasional guy out there that's like actually listening to the broadcast as you're broadcasting, and so in real racing, nobody would ever do that, right? I would hope not, anyway.
and I can't do that now. I mean, I can barely talk on the radio and drive at the same time, let alone watch something.
Understood. 10-4 on that one. Well, congratulations on that second position. I guess we'll pull up, is Colin down there, third position car? I'll pull him up here as well. Mm-hmm. So thanks, Dave, for setting this all up as well. Really appreciate it. I don't know how you found me, but I'm assuming maybe on the iRacing forum.
I contacted another guy, and he recommended you because he was busy. So
very cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
I think we're going to be golden. Thanks again, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Colin, I got you up in the booth here. Congratulations on third position. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, man. Good times. I think I qualified in 4th, so it was all about the start. Got in there at 3rd and just kind of kept a solid pace. Got a little loose in the first couple laps, and then the car kind of settled in. I saw Brian Kennedy was kind of reeling me in towards the end of the race, but I knew I had him, and he wouldn't be able to make the gap, so I just kind of kept it a little bit slow and methodical, but just wanted to make sure I didn't spin out, since a few of those cars had already spun a couple times. So not the most exciting race, but I'll take 3rd anytime.
Yeah, everybody finished the race, so that's a good sign. You didn't have any spins or anything. I know a couple drivers had just some slight issues, but I think you kept it clean the whole race, didn't you?
I in like the 2nd or 3rd lap, in the last sector, there's a hairpin, and I got a little squirrely, and I caught it, and that's where Peter kind of gained some. He shortened the gap behind me. I think I was about a little bit over a second, and then he got really close after I kind of lost a little bit of grip. But then after that, just kind of just try to be methodical and don't get too aggressive. I knew I was going to catch Dave or Raphael. Right, they were doing about a second better a lap, so there was no reason to try to push and ruin my race. So just saw 3rd was there. A podium finish is always nice.
You have any thoughts about going in a Spa next week?
It's my favorite track, so love it. I'm excited. Right, it's a great track and should be fast.
Very fast, yeah. I can't imagine these cars are flat through Eau Rouge and Radeon or anything like that, though. Maybe they are. I don't know. You tell me.
No, it'll be exciting, but this car, you can get it loose and control it, right, which is great about it. So I think it's going to do well on the track. I'm excited.
Well, congratulations on that third position on that podium. I guess next week and the following weeks will actually be for points, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Matt, and congrats to Dave and Raphael on the top 2 finishes. Fantastic job, guys.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, I think that's going to end the broadcast here. Scott, any last things you wanted to say?
No, I mean, thanks for setting this up. I know we made this happen less than 24 hours, so I really appreciate your effort here, and I look forward to watching the replay again, and looking forward to the broadcast for the next 5 weeks, and hopefully this will reach out to other and new drivers, and we'll have some exciting races coming up.
Yeah, very cool. I appreciate you guys choosing Race Verse. And I really want to do some road racing stuff, and you guys came along. I was really happy to see that, and I really wanted to have you guys on the channel. So very awesome. Cool. I'm glad it worked out for us, and look forward to next week at Spa. It'll be awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, you take care of yourself.
Matt.
Yep.
Take care, man. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks. All right, so next week we're going to be heading to Spa-Francorchamps at 8:00 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Don't know the specifics on the schedule. The broadcast will be starting at 8:05, at least in terms of running the when qualifying is, when the race is. But we'll be posting everything on the social media sites, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. All of those. Subscribe to the channel. And I just appreciate BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter for choosing Racefers here for the Oktoberfest season, and we look forward to broadcasting the rest of the season here. So congratulations to Raphael there on the victory, and we will see you guys next week.